$3,500 for fishing in my own neighborhood lake. That's what landed in my hand on a Saturday morning, along with the smuggest smile I've ever seen on a human face. Environmental violation, said Wendy Clark, our HOA president, her tone making it sound like I'd been dumping toxic waste into the water, not casting a legal fishing line like I'd done for 15 years. I'd paid my annual permit, followed every rule, and stood on the same spot where I'd never gotten a single complaint. But Wendy had decided I was enemy number one, and she was about to learn what happens when you pick a fight with someone who's got both cash and principles. You ever get hit with a ridiculous HOA fine? Yeah, that happened. Let me tell you what I wish I'd done about it. Saturday morning, 9:15. I'm out there on my dock, coffee in one hand, rod in the other, planning on nothing but a peaceful weekend. The water's glassy, the air is perfect, and those silly fountains are still blasting away even with drought warnings all over the county. I've got my permit receipt tucked in my tackle box like always. 15 years. Same spot, no issues. But I hear heavy footsteps behind my bad sign. I turn, and there's Wendy, clipboard like a weapon, with two board members I barely know flanking her like bodyguards. "Mr. Brooks," she says, real formal, "I need to issue you a citation for environmental damage during protected spawning hours." She hands me this thick, official-looking paper $3,500 for fishing. Says some environmental ordinance overrides my permit. Pay up or go to court. I show her my phone with the digital permit, point out the legal fishing hours on the weathered sign by the ramp, her own sign, by the way, but she just shakes her head and walks off. I storm back to my house, past those wasteful fountains blasting water sky high, sprinklers watering already green grass, all during a drought advisory. They fine me for fishing but waste thousands of gallons a week on landscaping. I mutter, the irony slapping me hard. That's when an idea pops up. If they think they control my rights with fake environmental claims, what if someone else controlled their water? Now, my boat shop had just finished its best year ever. $180,000 in revenue, insurance payout from last year, $85,000 in my account, $100,000 credit line. For the first time, I actually had some serious money. I start digging online community water systems. Who owns the fountains? How does lake water get managed? And boom! Lakeview Dam Company controls every water feature in our area. For sale, owner motivated. I call the number, speak to a broker named Jennifer. The price? $325,000. But the seller, Grant Moore, is flexible. I do the math. Between savings, insurance, and a bit of financing, I could actually buy the company that controls every drop of water in this place. "Honey," I ask Laura, my wife, "how do you feel about me buying a damn company?" She looks at me like I've lost my mind, almost drops the coffee pot. I explain the fine, show her the listing. She's skeptical but interested, and she knows numbers better than anyone. But that's when things escalate. By Monday, 2 of my biggest boat shop contracts get canceled. Environmental concerns, they say. It's clear Wendy's making this personal, trying to hurt my business, ruin my name. This isn't just about a finite's war. Tuesday, I meet Grant at the dam facility. He's a weathered, 60-something guy with a handshake like a vice. The operation is legit, everything runs from this modest building. He tells me Wendy's been hounding him, demanding he violate drought restrictions for her events, garden parties, board gatherings. She's literally making me sicker, he says. I show him my citation. He shakes his head. She complains about budgets but wants expensive water displays for her socials. Her maintenance contractor always needs money, never seen a project finished. Something about that sticks in my mind. Laura reviews 3 years of records. Profits, contracts, county inspections. Numbers look good, she says. It's a real business. We sit down that night, talk it out, risks, rewards, everything. We decide to go for it. I sign the purchase agreement, write a check for $25,000 earnest money, and Grant agrees to finance the rest. But there's a catch: county has to approve the transfer 60 days. Still, for the first time, I feel like I've got a way out that doesn't involve lawyers or rolling over. But Wendy's not done. The next HOA meeting is a circus. She's got a full slideshow, handouts, a projector, the works. Environmental threat, she says, flipping to slides showing shoreline erosion, muddy water, torn up grass. Only problem? I recognize the photostheory from a storm last spring. Not fishing. She's got expert testimony, but it's generic, stock content from a template site. Still, neighbors I've known for years start nodding along, buying every word. I stand up, show my permit, photos of the regulation sign, explain the real cause of the erosion. She cuts me off. Environmental protection overrides fishing permits. The board votes 52-11 to ban me from the lake. My name goes on a permanent community record as a repeat offender. People I've fished with, fixed boats for, shared barbecues with, now see me as a villain. It stings worse than the fine, but I'm not backing down. That night I call Grant. I'm ready to move forward. He warns me if this is just for revenge, the county might reject the deal. But if it's about justice, about operating the facility right, then I've got his support. That's the line I decide to walk. 60 days go by in a blur of paperwork, technical training, learning how to run a utility company from the inside. The county inspector comes through, no-nonsense guy, spends hours checking equipment, asking questions. Should be no problem for a qualified buyer, he says. But word gets out, people start asking about their water supply, panic a little. Wendy tries one last desperate legal move. An emergency injunction gets tossed out. Closing day, Grant hands me the keys, shakes my hand, tells me not to let her push me around. I'm now the legal owner and operator of the Lakeview Dam Company. Every fountain, every sprinkler, every decorative stream in the neighborhood runs through my hands. I pin that $3,500 fine on the bulletin board and start planning. County regs say I can shut down non-essential systems for maintenance and drought compliance. So I file the notices 48 hours, decorative features offline, drinking water unaffected. The message is clear. The tone professional, no pettiness, no drama. Wednesday morning, I stand at the control panel, the community gathered outside, phones out, some faces angry, some smug, some just curious. Good morning, I say. I'm Mason Brooks, new owner and operator of this utility. Some of you know me as the guy who was fined $3,500 for fishing with a permit. Some of you voted to ban me. Today, I want to show you what real environmental responsibility looks like. Wendy storms in, shouting, "You can't just buy the company because of a fine." I show her the license, the approvals, all official. Actually, I can, and I did. I start flipping switches. One by one, the fountains sputter and go silent. Sprinklers stop. Ornamental streams dry up. I announce, this shutdown will continue until the HOA removes all fraudulent violations from my record and issues a public apology. Wendy freaks, calls it terrorism, says I'm holding the community hostage. No, I say, holding up the county's drought advisory. This is environmental compliance. Drinking water's fine. This is about vanity landscaping. Then the county inspector steps up, confirms every action is legal. Laura's by my side with a folder of evidence. Photos of storm damage used in the slideshow, proof the expert testimony was from a stock website, side-by-sides of her lies and real county reports. Neighbors start murmuring, asking for details. A local reporter's there, curious. Sometimes you have to buy what they think they own to hold power accountable. I say, that's all this is. But the next twist? The county inspector finds unauthorized equipment behind the main control Pinellas secondary pump, feeding water directly to the clubhouse landscaping, bypassing all drought controls. Invoices show $45,000 spent on a system worth maybe $15,000. The HOA's maintenance vendor is a shell company, Clark Maintenance Services, registered to Wendy's home. Over $127,000 stolen through fake projects and inflated bills. The county opens a criminal investigation. The reporter starts digging, and suddenly the story explodes. Homeowner buys dam company over HOA fine. Exposes embezzlement ring. Residents are furious, apologies roll in from people who'd voted against me. The FBI gets involved, finds similar schemes across other HOAs where Wendy was a consultant. My little $3,500 fine turns into the keystone in a $2 million countywide fraud. Wendy gets arrested at the next emergency meeting, handcuffed in front of the neighbors she'd bullied for years. This is all his fault, started it with the phishing fine. She screams as the detective leads her out. No, ma'am, says the detective. This is because of the financial crimes. The phishing fine just helped us find them. Community reforms sweep in financial transparency laws, limits on HOA fines, third-party oversight. My business, once bleeding customers, rebounds, and then some people come from miles away just to support the guy who took on the crooked HOA. The Brooks Act, named after the saga, becomes a model for state reform. I keep the dam company, hire a real operator, and invest profits into transparent community lake improvements. The infamous phishing fine hangs in my office not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Sometimes the only way to stand up to a bully is to take away the thing they think makes them untouchable. And yeah, I still fish that same dock every weekend, peaceful, legal, just like it always should have been. Now, I've told you my story. Have you ever fought back when authority crossed a line? Tell me your HOA nightmares in the comments. What does justice look like in your community? Don't just add your voice, because sometimes the price of standing up is high, but letting bullies run wild costs us all a lot more.